Between the hedges, Georgia dogs coming out. War eagle flying over Jordan hair skies. Hottie toddy down in Oxford, rebels rise. Cowbells ringing in Starkville all night. Rocky Top singing in that Leland light. Anchor down Vandy, black and gold pride. Gamecocks crowing in Columbia loud and wide. Saturday light, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score. Saturday light, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score. Gators in the swamp, chomping all day long. Saturday nights in Death Valley, that tiger strong. So we Razorbacks, crowd calling the hogs. Blue Ridge battle Wildcats, bringing the dogs. Show me Miss Zoe, black and gold fight. Boomer sooner running on a Saturday night. Hook 'em horns, burnt orange in the sun. 12th man standing, Aggies get it done. Saturday light, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score. Saturday light, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score.
Welcome to this presentation of Water Cooler Talk Sports.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, man, it's your man, Nick Frazier, man, and we are around the water cooler again on this Wednesday, April 29th. Man, we appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us here, man. This should be a good show tonight, man. My name is Nick Frazier, as I already said, man. Man, you can't see him, but you can hear him. Tell him who you are, boss, man.
It's your boy Marcus Fitzpatrick. Let's go. Let's get it, man.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man. Also, joining us around the water cooler tonight, man. As always, it is our guy from it's SC Season. It is the one and only Auburn Tez. What's up, Tez? How you feeling, man?
Feeling pretty good, man. How about you guys?
Man, we feeling great.
I love the cut, boy.
Yes,
Y'all appreciate
fresh.
it, man.
That's fresh. That's what that is, man.
I got a big day Saturday.
That's right. Graduation Saturday at Auburn. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out to Tez's daughter for graduation.
congratulations.
Graduating
Congratulations.
from Auburn. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what
Super
I'm talking
excited.
about, man. That's what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, also joining us around the water cooler, it is the legend himself, Bubba from Bubba and the Old Man. What's going on, Bubba? How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
What's up,
What's
bud?
up, my guy? That's what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us. Before we get into it, as always, you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do. You know what we got to do before we get into this thing, man. As always, we got to do this. We have to. We have to. It's mandatory. Subscribe to these YouTube channels. At It's SEC is what I got. Tez, man, at Tight Sports, the Alabama Football Megacast, man. I got DC Wolf over at Auburn_Addicts TV. At the Uptempo Podcast, what I got. Dustin. Also, man, shout out to our guy. Excuse me. Shout out to our guy B Sharp over at Sharpshooter Sports Talk. I got Vandy Chris over at the Go to Broom Podcast and the Anchor Down Live Podcast on Facebook. Also, man, at the Huggy Beard himself on YouTube and on Twitter. I got at Kid Country, man. Make sure you go subscribe to his YouTube channel. And of course, Bubba and the Old Man, Auburn Sports Talks, the legends themselves. Make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to them. Also, JMH Sports Talk, what I got, Coach Sean on the Block Sports with Coach Carl. And of course, I got Dylan over at the College Loop. Also, man, mess with the people that mess with Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. Shout out to our guy DJ. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. That's Hollywood with an EY. Then, of course, follow him on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's. Hollywood. I want to say it with Marcus this time. That's I just want to say with Marcus that time. We appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us, man. Mess with the people that mess with us, man. Also, man, you want to go get some good food? Head on down to Adelines by Chef Country, 2371 Highway 14, Otagoville, Alabama. Well, we do it right. That's what we do it right at, man. That's what. Hey, we will be there October 17, 2026 for the Auburn versus Georgia game. We will be in the building going live for that game from Adelines. So make sure you in the place. Details about that will be coming soon. But also, man, make sure you go there and check out our guy Kid Country before. Man, yo, what is this? What is this, man? What is I honestly feel like somebody is legitimately trying to take over the stream. This is a new one. Have you ever heard of Weekend Energy? Stay tuned. Weekend Energy.
That must be DC.
Gotta be DC. That's what I'm thinking. You know what? I wonder if DC has kind of like got in the back some kind of way into this StreamYard account. And now DC is up. But this is wild, bro. I really want to know what this is, man. What does Weekend Energy have
shows on the weekend?
What does Weekend Energy have to do with this, bro? Anyway, I'm gonna try to keep it moving. Hopefully, it'll bring up the next thing, bro. Hopefully, it'll bring up the next thing. I don't know. It is what it is. Whoa! Then it's something big. You know what, bro? It is what it is, man. Let me try to get this up. There we go. We back on schedule, man. At the Coolest Pod 23 on Twitter, man. Make sure you follow us. Follow us at the Water Cooler Talk on Instagram and on TikTok, man. At the Water Cooler Talk podcast on Facebook, and of course, visit www.watercoolertalksports.com, man. www.watercoolertalksports.com, man, for all of your college football, SEC football, Auburn football, high school recruiting, man. Anything that you want to read on there, man. I'm not gonna say anything. It's not up there right now. It's not everything, but we are getting to that point. We're in the process of expanding the website for people that want to be a part of that. And it's coming soon, man. So make sure you visit the website, www.watercoolertalksports.com, man. Fellas, man, let's get into tonight's topic. But before we do that, man, all I'm gonna say is, man, shout out to everybody that's rocking with us in the chat, man. We gotta shout them out, man. AD4L, Auburn Dad for Life is in the chat. What's up, Auburn Dad, man?
AD4L,
what's going on, man? Hope you feeling good. Hope you feeling great, man. There's Tim Tucker. Tim Tucker is back, man. What's up, Tim?
What's up, Tim?
And guess what? Here is Tim Tucker again. He's back again. What up? Hey. My guy. Hope you feeling good.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, my guy. Also, man, shout out to I got Mike McKinney in the chat. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Big Sarge rocking with us in the chat as well, man. What's up, man? How you feeling? How you feeling? He owned the show. In the words of DC Wolf, he owned the show and in the chat at the same time. It is Bubba from Bubba and the Old Man. Oh my God, bro. It is wild in this thing, man. At the Huggy Beard himself on here, man. We appreciate at the Huggy Beard. I'm gonna start this because I wanna ask a question about this. Before we get into this topic real quick, I'm gonna ask a question about that. I love the chat, bro. I think I know what he's saying right here, but I want to see what he's talking about. But it's all good, man. Man, I got Jermaine Mims in the chat. What's up, Jermaine? Man, he said it's an Iran cyber attack. Control Alt Delete.
One of my favorite Alabama
That's funny.
I don't like all of them.
Woo.
That's funny.
Man, this is wild, bro.
Sergeant Ant, man, y'all boy crazy.
Right. Y'all are hilarious, my God. This is so good. This is so good, bro. This is so good, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. Let's see. Ant said, "What a shot, Marcus." What are you talking about? What happened? What I missed? What did I miss?
What Sarge said?
What did he say
about Mike G sneak this?
That's why I started. I was trying to wait to get to that, and then I was gonna ask a question about that real quick. It is what it is, man. Tim Tucker said, I will not stand for these allegations. Well, Tim Tucker,
welcome back, man.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Even though we know, we know that you have been in the chat.
Up since you've been here.
Even though we know that you have been in the chat, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. But it's all good, man. We appreciate that. There was something that was start. Big Sarge, what are you talking about right here, man? What are you referring to?
He was referring to You saying somebody spamming our show.
Oh,
Weekend energy.
I got it. So that's funny.
That what made it funny.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. That's funny. But shout out to those guys over at the War Report, man. All right, man. Let's get into this topic for tonight, man. This is the topic that I have been I gotta put this up real quick before we get into it. Auburn Dad said, man, y'all see AG went to a regional charity tournament and didn't play golf. Yes, he was at the Regents tournament. He's at the Regents tournament and did not play, which is funny. Well, it's not funny. No, it is funny. It is funny, especially with all of the, the allegations of the previous coach that was at Auburn. Yeah, but he did say that in his opening press conference. He was like, he's not a good golfer, but he said his wife played golf very well. He did say that in his opening in the press conference. He said, but he doesn't play. He said his wife does. So, it is what it is, man. All right, let's get into this topic for tonight, man. It's a topic that I've kind of been pushing a little bit, but I think we should have a discussion about it because that's what we do around the water cooler. We have discussions, whether you agree, disagree. We come around the water cooler and we talk about it. Is what we do, man. Georgia's dynasty. Has Georgia's dynasty peaked? Or are we about to see Georgia 2.0 and we're about to see them take over the SEC and potentially hit another peak in this next era of Georgia football, Kirby Smart, and things of that nature. I'm gonna put up this graphic because I want people to one thing I say is I want people to notice that when you say stuff, you can say it, but when people actually see it in writing, sometimes it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's different when people actually see it in writing. And here's the graphic right here, man. Georgia by the numbers. This is Georgia by the numbers. Let me take the lower streaming part down real quick so you can get a full view of the graphic. 0 playoff wins since winning the 2022 CFP National Championship. In 2022, they beat TCU 65-7. I think everybody remembers that because everybody basically said that the Georgia-Ohio State game in the semifinals was the national championship game. And if people remember that game, that is the game where I believe Georgia kicked the field goal to go up in that game, like right at midnight, something of that nature, New Year's Day or something of that. You get to 2023. 2023, they did not miss. 2023, they did miss the playoffs, but they were an undefeated team going into the SEC championship game, and that was part of the reason why they missed the playoffs because they lost to Alabama in the playoffs. I mean, in the SEC championship game, and that was still the 14 playoff, and that was the year that Alabama lost to Michigan in the first round, and Michigan won the national championship. 2024, they won the SEC title as well. That was the game that Carson Beck went out with a shoulder injury right before halftime. And then they ended up losing to Notre Dame in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. And Notre Dame ended up playing for the national championship that year, but ended up losing to Ohio State. And then just recently, they won the SEC championship again. That was against Alabama, not Texas. That is a typo there. That is a typo. They beat Alabama this past year in the SEC championship game. Just so people know, that is a typo. That is my fault. That is a typo in the SEC championship game. And then lost in the quarterfinal to Ole Miss as well. After beating Ole Miss in the regular season when Lane Kiffin was the head coach, even though Ole Miss had like a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter of the game. But we all know what happened. Pete Golden ended up being the head coach for the playoff run, and Ole Miss ended up beating Georgia. And I think that score is wrong too. I think the score is like 39-34. Why is it? What was I looking at? Jesus Christ. That was the actual score of that game was 39-34. Excuse me. That's wrong. But then you look at the bottom and it says 0 playoff wins since winning the national championship. They've had 2 playoff appearances and they've won 2 SEC championships games. So you look at this graphic, you kind of see it by the numbers of what Georgia has been since they last won the national championship this in 2022. When you look at that graphic, right? Let's start with Bubba on this one. Bubba, when you look at that graphic, do you agree with the statement that Georgia's dynasty has peaked?
Yeah. I think that's like it's not even a question. I think more than that, dynasties in general are done. I don't think we'll ever see another one. Now, I think that they're going to be a really good team this year. I think they're a playoff team. This is the best team they've had since 23. But we're never going to see sustained dominance like Alabama's dynasty ever again. So I think it's fair to say, yeah, it's over. And honestly, they've underperformed since winning the national championship in 2022.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Marcus, your thoughts?
I agree with Bubba on the fact that the dynasties, I feel like, are over unless you end up building up a class that you can sustain. It's just going to be very tough in this day and age to keep doing that. So to answer that question, yes, I do think that the dynasty has peaked, but I would also say that they have been in the the SEC championship past couple of years. So it's a situation where Kirby has to prioritize how he wants to play it. Like, is the SEC championship worth being banged up going into the playoffs? Or maybe should you take the SEC championship off and focus on the playoff run? So it's just how he prioritizes moving forward if they can get back to the promised land, in my opinion. But them sustaining, them being a dynasty, yeah, I'm with Bubba. I think those days are over with.
Okay. All right. Ted, your thoughts? Georgia's dynasty, has it peaked?
Nah.
Wow. Okay.
It depends on what you call a dynasty, man. You look at that graphic. They've won our league, right? 2 years in a row. 3 of the last 4 years they won. Well, actually, probably 4 of the last 5 years they won. They've won our league, so they're the closest thing that we have to a dynasty in the SEC, right? National championship this year. I'm not saying I'm picking Georgia to win a national championship this year, but a national championship this year, it is a dynasty run. That would be 3 national championships in what? 6 years? Something like that? 5 years? 6 years? 2 championships in 6 years? That sounds like dynasty to me. So like I don't know. I get it because you got this playoff era. And then it's much tougher to win national championships now. I think that's because of the playoffs more so than actually NIL and roster building. I think, we don't play. It's not the NBA when it's not the best of 7 games. It's, any given night, anybody can lose in the playoff and that goes your national championship hopes. So as far as dynasty from a national championship standpoint, they may be at a lull, I guess. But in this league, in the SEC, this is the closest thing to a dynasty to me. I don't see anybody else winning the league year after year after year like that anymore. But Georgia, they always show up in the SEC championship and they always seem to win it. So if we value the SEC as a league, right? We said it's the best conference. Then winning that SEC championships has got to mean something. So yeah, I don't know if it's over. And like I said, I could say that it peaked, but win a national championship this year and it's right on course, par for course.
To your point, you just basically said if we value the conference as a whole, the SEC championship should mean something. But even the coach of the team that we're talking about tonight, Kirby Smart, has said that he's probably in favor of seeing the SEC championship game go away. So if that goes away, right? If the SEC championship game is no more, and now the way that the champion is determined is by the league record at the end of the season, does that change your perspective on that? Because at that particular time, does winning the SEC at that particular time, in your opinion, still matter as much? Because as Marcus said, when he in his response to the question was, do you kind of sit back and not go to an SEC championship game, or do you just be like, we'll play the SEC championship game, and want to and be champions of the SEC, but with the emphasis now being on college football playoff, CFP, appearances, CFP wins, CFP national championships. This kind of diverging a little bit away from the topic tonight, but we'll get back to that. Does it matter for anybody that wins the SEC championship now, in your opinion?
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, as you can see with Georgia, it really don't when you win the SEC championship and get kicked out the first round, and people questioning your legitimacy as a dynasty. Like Ted said, if we think the SEC is the powerhouse that it is, the SEC championship should mean something. But this day and age, Ted, as you can see, people in the Big Ten feel like the Big Ten is a strong cover. It's people contesting how strong the SEC is. So it's just like it's kind of dimming the light on the SEC championship, and it's glorifying the playoff run. So it's just like, as a coach, which one are you going to start valuing more?
Well, I mean, if they have to play the game, I don't see Kirby Smart as opting out of the SEC championship.
True.
I don't see that happening. But so let's just call it like this: the Power Four schools, they're really two of them: the Big Ten and the SEC. The other two, you can argue the Big 12 is competitive. The ACC is just, I don't know what they're doing with they maybe they need to restructure that thing or something like that so to be more competitive top to bottom. But we're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC. If you win one of those leagues, right? If you win one of those leagues, I feel like you're one of the top teams in the country, right? And Georgia has won one of those leagues, like I said, 3 out of the last 4 years. Now, when we talk about the college football playoff, though, how would you define dynasty in a playoff system? Right?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's actually over.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this to that point. Let me ask you a question to that point, Tez. You asked the question of how would you define a dynasty in the playoff era? All right, let's say the NFL, right?
Right. That's why I was going.
All right.
That's why I was going.
Would you consider and this is a question for everybody on the panel and even in the chat. I want people to react to this. Would y'all consider Kansas City to be a dynasty right now?
I think right probably. Now? They won what, like 3 in the last 5 years?
Last year was the first year. Last year was the first year that Kansas City was not in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah. I was gonna say that dynasty it looked like it's coming to an end, but they still in it.
Well, no, they had an opportunity to still make the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes got hurt, but
he tore his ACL.
He did,
right?
But the thing is,
that would make it look like it coming to an end.
Well, okay, I get what you're saying. All right, I get what you're saying. But the thing is, like, would you consider Kansas City to be a dynasty?
Yeah.
Would you consider the Philadelphia Eagles to be a dynasty?
No.
Nah.
Philadelphia has been in the Super Bowl 2 of the last 4 years.
But that's not a dynasty. It's not sustained.
Yeah.
The only
They won one though. They
did win one. They've won 2 in the last decade, but that's not a dynasty. Dynasty is Brady's 6 in 20 years.
And that's why I wanted you to answer the question, Bubba, because a dynasty is still going to be the same thing, Nick.
I think a dynasty has to be on the national stage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The dynasty is going to still be the same thing. Like, we going to still define it the same way.
Actually, I like Jay Money's response, right?
Yeah, I was about to put it up.
3 chips is a dynasty. So to me, UGA isn't a dynasty yet. I like that. I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah,
right?
That's fair.
However, they win another one this year, next year, you have to put that crown on and call it a dynasty.
And what time span do you win 3?
Well,
Like,
Clemson won 3 in. They won their first one in what 2015, and then they won.
Yeah, they won like 3 and 5 years.
Yeah, they won their last one in 2020. So yeah, 3 and 5. So basically, if to that point, Georgia will have to win the national championship this year.
It has to be like 3 over the span of 7 years at least. It has to be at least 3 and 7. You have to dominate the majority of 7 years.
I don't listen. I don't know if it has to be next year. It could be within the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, think about this. They had the 2 national championships. Even per the graphic that you put up, they didn't make the playoffs, and then they came back and made the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Just like Patrick Mahomes got hurt, so did Carson Beck. Yes. Right, on their playoff run. Not only that, Kirby lost his father before that game. Mm-hmm. And the game had to be moved to another stadium. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they come back, make the playoffs again. I think everybody would say that last year that Georgia was the best team in the SEC, right? I don't think that's...
You could say that. Yeah, you could say it.
That any given Saturday, any given Saturday, you probably would pick Georgia to win.
And did Clemson
in
really
SEC
win
competition?
Clemson did win. Clemson won.
They won 3 and 4 years.
I thought they won 2. I thought the Sean won a treble one.
They won another one too, if I'm not
mistaken.
They
won 16, 18, and 19.
So if Georgia
would have won 16 to 18.
If Georgia would have win the SEC this year, win the SEC next year, and then what would that make it? 2028? Go and win a national championship? Is that not dynastic?
You know what? You are correct. Clemson did only win 2.
I thought so.
Yeah, my bad.
Clemson only won 2. They won 2. That is correct. We off. We thinking we was off on something. Yeah, Clemson won 2. I was sitting there thinking in my head. I was like, yeah, Clemson did only win 2. They won one with Deshaun Watson and one with Trevor Lawrence. Yes, that is correct. 19 was LSU.
Yeah.
Would that not be dynastic though? Like if they were to win the SEC this year, win the SEC next year, and then maybe win a national championship in 2028, would that not qualify as a dynastic run where you won?
It would depend. It would depend on the value. It depends on the value you put behind the SEC championship game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. But I actually agree with Bubba.
I give you that.
You gotta win like
because I ask you this. I say this. The Argonauts have won the CFL plenty. I've won the CFL Grey Cup a lot of times, but don't nobody talk about it. There's not a value behind it
because it's CFL football.
Exactly, that's my point. So if the SEC, if the game itself is devalued, right? If the game itself is devalued, do we look at those championships the same and do those wins qualify as part of a dynasty? In the playoff era, pre-playoff era, yes,
it would qualify if the team wins a national championship.
I mean,
I don't think you value it on a national.
To your point, I don't know if dynasty is the correct word to use for what Georgia is.
Okay,
but dominant comes to mind.
Dominant would be a better word. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Like everybody on their schedule right now, and probably for the last, I would say, with the exception of Alabama, maybe I don't know what those lines look like, but maybe the last 4 years, they've been favored over. Even in the playoffs, they've been like Georgia, even right now, is like the team to beat. Even though Indiana won the national championship, you know that Georgia is the team. Georgia is probably one of the toughest teams to beat in the country, year after year after year. Like, you got it. I don't know what the word is you use for that, but it's something.
Marcus, don't take take offense to this, but the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 straight years and didn't win.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider
nobody
the
Bills win the AFC.
But to your point, Ted, what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, they're one of the toughest teams in the country to beat, but at some point in time, you have to have some type of hardware behind that.
Exactly.
To justify it.
Well, the Bills don't have any.
I know.
That's my point. But
Georgia
here's-
does.
I'm very
but
upset
Georgia, but like let's put some context to this. Like sometimes we will say stuff, we will say things, and on the surface, it is fact. But when you
Right.
start putting context to it, it starts that you start seeing it in a different light. So Georgia won back-to-back national championships when NIL just became prominent.
True. So let's do this. Let's just draw a line in the sand, right? So we can't carry over anybody's success or anybody's stories or what that team is from the NIL era to this era, from the 14 playoff to this playoff. Because when you do that, Georgia's a dynasty. Like if you go back and you carry that over, Georgia's a dynasty. But if you're drawing the line in the sand and saying this playoff era, this NIL era, then no, we don't have one yet. It just hasn't been enough time. It hasn't been around enough for us to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
If that's what we're saying, then yeah, true. It's not dynastic. But if you're gonna go ahead and include, a 5-year span, well, in the 5-year span, they got 2 natties, right? And
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
You see what I'm saying? So like, regardless of how it was done, they were there. And then not only that,
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
not only that, for the last 2 years when they made the playoffs, they would have made the 14 playoffs as well. Each year. They were one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Who they played would have been different. They may not have lost in the first round because the first round has, they had that first round exit that has, a different element to it where, you got to play immediately versus you get this time off to prepare for a team with how the 14 playoff was set up. So like, it's a different ball game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to judge this thing now. Like I've said before, like, hey, you're going to have to start even looking at coaches at how many times you made the playoffs. How far did you get in the playoffs? That's going to be part of their resume, just like in college basketball now. And that's probably going to be part of their resume of teams' resume, right? We don't use the word dynasty a lot in college basketball, but then when you look at the team, you look at teams that are consistently in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, consistently make the Elite 8, consistently make the Final Four.
Hey,
those teams are
Tiz,
whatever the word.
But I want to ask you a question to your point. So, with that being said, since you said playoff appearances will matter a lot on coaches' resumes, will conference what will rank more, a conference championship or more playoff appearances?
Well, the way it's set up, if you depending on what conference you're in, you make your conference champ, you win the conference. Well, if you win your conference championship, we know you're gonna make the playoffs.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a free ticket to the playoffs. All you got to do is win that conference championship. Yeah.
But say a coach has like 18 playoff appearances, only 3 conference championships.
That's not that can't happen under this model, unless we're talking about a group of 5 coach. Because if you know what I mean, you most times if you make the conference championship, you're going to make the playoffs. And like Mike McKinney said, unless you do, but yeah, like it's almost impossible with that, which is why people are trying to get rid of those conference championships, because it's impossible. It's just like, you win your conference, you win the Big Ten, you win the SEC, you win the Big 12, you win the ACC, you're going to the playoffs. So those numbers are always going to be the same until they change that model. One can't exist without the other because it's an automatic bid.
Bubba said something earlier when he was answering the question. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that he said. He said something to the effect of Georgia has underperformed in recent years.
Yeah, the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years. That's what it was. He said Georgia has underperformed in the last 2 years. And the conversation that we just basically had about, the structure of college football and the way that it is and where it potentially is going. I want to ask y'all a question. Do you think Georgia has underperformed, or do you think they're right on par with where they want to be at? Because it's just the way that Tez just said that we possibly could start, measuring coaches and teams by how many playoff appearances they have, and things of that nature. Because it is harder to win in a playoff era. It is. It was just that is just simple. That is just a fact. It's not like the old BCS era to where you play a conference championship game, you get ranked 1 or 2, you wait a whole 30 some days to play the national championship. Now in the playoff era, you play a game every weekend, or something of that nature. You playing more teams to get to the title, so it is harder to play in this era of college football. So to y'all, to the question, I asked y'all the question: do you think that has Georgia underperformed in the past 2 seasons? I want to start with Marcus on that one.
Past 2 seasons, I think they lost to a good Notre Dame team that eventually I think went to the national championship, if I'm not mistaken, and they were nicked up after losing Brock Bowers the year before. I can't say they underperformed, man. This year I felt like they should have beat Ole Miss, so I would say this year, not the last 2, but yeah, I felt like they should have beat Ole Miss this year.
Okay. Did your thoughts?
It depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about by national championship standards, then of course they didn't win them, so that would be an underperformance. And if that's an expectation in Georgia by Georgia standards, yeah, I see how you would say that's an underperformance. But my only rebuttal would be that means that every single team in the SEC has underperformed in the last 2 years.
Okay. To that point, should we? Because now this brings in a different question.
You see what I'm saying?
This brings a different question in that I need to ask. I get what you're saying. So, like, should our expectations as people that are fans that watch the sport, media, whatever you want to call them, things, stuff of that nature, should they change now because of the playoff format?
Probably.
So what? So what should be our expectations right now as fans?
That's a good question. You mean what should our expectations be for just our teams or just like random teams?
No. Just for teams that we see. For every team. Like, so, okay, for example, SMU made the playoffs in 2 years ago. Okay.
Right.
Arizona State made the playoffs 2 years ago. All right. All of a sudden, those teams didn't make the playoffs last year, but SMU was still in the conversation for the ACC title, even though they lost to Baylor early on in the season and things, stuff of that nature. So are we sitting here saying that SMU is a bad team?
No.
Or were they just a bad, or were they just an average team for the 2025 season?
I think that we only have in this, like, the only reason that we even considering this an underperformance is because we're talking about Georgia. Would you say Miami's underperformed in the last couple of years?
Yes, because Miami, because
2.5 decades.
Yes. Miami has underperformed.
You walked into that one.
But I don't think that's an underperformance. Like, they are bad. They've been traditionally a bad.
I think
they here's what I'm saying. In recent history, before the last couple of years, they have been an awful team.
It's my point exactly. Yes.
In the last couple of years, they look pretty decent. I wouldn't call that an underperformance in the last 2 years. That's over what you normally do.
To that point.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, Ted.
They won 10 games. They won 10 games. They won 10 games to Cam Warrior, if I'm not mistaken. Then they went to the national championship game. They went to the national championship this past season and lost. Before that, they were still a 7-8 win team.
Yeah. That's what I said. That's what I said. In the last couple of years, last 2 years, would you call that underperformance?
No. The last 2 years, I wouldn't call it an underperformance.
They underperformed with Cam Ward.
But
I'll give you that.
That's a difference.
That's exactly what I said, bro.
I'll give you
They
that.
underperformed the year before, not this year.
But my thing is, like, if you're talking about in the era, if we say in the past 5 years, because the reason why I'm saying 5 years is because NIL was enacted in 2021, and that's when this whole system kind of changed. So where now we talk about parity in college football. People talk about the transfer portal in 2017, 2018. Yeah, that's fine. But NIL basically put a rocket boost on that thing and made it to where there's a lot of parity among teams. So that's the reason why I say 2021, because we are going into the 5th year of NIL being a player in the way rosters are constructed, in the way teams look at players and how they build rosters as well. So that's the reason why for everybody that's watching now, everybody's watching the rewatch. That's the reason why I'm using 2021 and saying in the past 5 years. So in that past 5-year period, when you bring up Miami, yes, Miami has underperformed in that situation. But when you look at SMU, has SMU underperformed in that time period as well?
No.
Even though SMU has been to the playoffs.
What are your expectations for SMU?
So basically, the whole conversation that we're having is about expectations for individual teams. So in that particular case, then Georgia has underperformed because of the expectations that if we answering the question based on what expectations are, Georgia has underperformed because Georgia has historically been in the conversation for national championships, not just conference championships, but national championships. And yes, they've made the playoffs, but they've also gotten beat in the first round of the playoff. I mean, not first round, in their first game of the playoffs, having not won one game since they won the national championship.
But I would argue you tell your expectations towards roster as well, not just what's the name of the school.
Yeah, but Georgia still Georgia last year roster, like as much as I was like, I didn't think Georgia was gonna make the playoffs. I thought Georgia would be a 9-win team.
That was because of the roster.
In the 2024 season, Georgia ended up still winning 11 games.
That's exceeding expectation because of the roster, though.
But that was my expectations. But majority of people still
you've seen the roster, though, Nick.
Majority that was my single expectations. Majority of the people still felt like Georgia had a roster that was like even though that roster was the way it was, a lot of people still had Georgia and felt as if guess what, that team could still beat probably some veteran teams in college football.
For sure.
So the expectation for them at that time was not that low compared to what mine were for them. And that was just my personal expectations for them. But nationally, I don't think there has ever been a time where people were saying nationally that Georgia's only going to win 8 games this year. Or Georgia will be a 7-8 win team this year. Every year you talk about them, it is always at the minimum that they could lose. I mean, that they will win is 9. At the maximum, they're going undefeated.
I give you that. Yeah. But I mean, like there's other teams like that too. Ohio State is one of them.
Ohio State is one of them. Yeah.
Ohio State has that recent national championship, so we can't have that conversation about them. But it depends on how you value that school. You know, that's why you don't look at an SMU and say they underperformed because nobody expected anything from it. SMU got the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? To see them even making the playoffs and winning games now is just like you are overperforming almost. But as far as Georgia go, I think what's happening is like it's a different sport now. Same sport but different game almost, right? You know, there's an extra game after the SEC championship that you have to play now that you didn't have to play in neither of the BCS era or the 14 playoff era. You got to play that game. And then you still have to go on and beat pretty good teams to make this in a one-game format. There's a transition that's happening that we as fans, we are having this conversation now because I think we are forward-thinking individuals, and I think we do a good job of finding topics and discussing them in detail. And the people in the chat, of course, they subscribe for that. But a lot of people aren't having this conversation just simply because it's so early, right? I think it'd probably take about 10 years for us to really set in of what the expectations of teams are with this new playoff system.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement.
Especially if they extend it any further. You're talking about 24 teams. Like, once you start adding more teams, how can you have national championship or bust expectations, right? That I don't know if that really exists in college basketball in that way. It did at one point.
I was just about to say that. Because you would normally, like, the buzzword, like when you hear buzzwords of people saying, well, this team was a Sweet 16 team. You know, this team was like an Elite 8 team. That was like almost like, okay, like you didn't win a national championship, but you was right there. You were one of the best 16 or best 8 teams in the country that year. So I guess my question is for all y'all at that particular point, like, what is it? Where does a team have to be in order for people to be like, all right, do they have to be a Final Four? Do they have to be one of the Final Four? Do they have to be? Do they just have to be a quarterfinal team? Could they be one of those 8 teams that end up making it? Do they or do they just have to get past the first round of the playoffs and actually get into the playoff part of it, where those 8 teams are playing? Like, not just making the playoffs and being like, all right, you made the first round. Do you have to get past the first round and be like, all right, you made it to the quarterfinals of the college football playoff? You are one of the elite 8 of college football this year. I guess that's what what I'm asking, is what it is. Like because I think we all understand that in this playoff format, it is harder to win national championships. And I hope people understand that. So what is it to where what is that benchmark that we are looking at, saying that a team made it here? This team was the standard or one of the best, and they're consistently hitting that mark every year, to where they are in the conversation to where you like, this team has a chance every single season to make it. Not just winning a conference, but they make it this far in the playoffs. Where is that mark? Is there some kind of way we can find that mark before we end this show tonight?
I think exactly what you just said, bro. I like your explanation.
Yeah, I just want to say, unless they change the structure of it, I mean, like Ted said earlier, unless they make it a 24-team playoff, like you said, the Elite 8, Final Four range, that's pretty much what I was thinking.
What's your thoughts, Bub?
Yeah, well, when it comes to Georgia specifically, like, I didn't say they had underperformed because they haven't won a national championship.
Okay.
They have not won a playoff game in 3 years.
Right.
That 2024 team lost to 2 teams that were objectively worse football teams. Okay. Alabama was a 3-loss regular season team. Ole Miss was like a 10-win team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not looked like a playoff team in the last 2 years on the field. That 2024 team couldn't run the football. And this past season, even though late season, Gunnar Stockton was a late season Heisman candidate, right?
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kirby Smart's allegiance to these mediocre coaches, and I ain't got to get into that, but offensive line coach, offense coordinator. But when it comes to Georgia, they could never win another national championship under Kirby Smart. They could perform at a high level and not be considered an underperforming team. But you can't have 3-year stretches where you're not winning a single playoff game against teams that you should be able to compete with. Like, I understand everything that went down. Like, Carson Beck went down. Gunnar Stockton wasn't great, right? He was still young. They should have won that football game against Notre Dame. And they had no business losing to a Pete Golding-led football team in the playoffs last year.
I agree to that.
I agree with that.
I don't know the Notre Dame point, but I agree to the Pete Golding.
The only thing about it, the way I look at it is this. The first round of the playoffs is now pretty much, you could call it an extra season game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where after the SEC championship, you're playing one of the top 12 teams in the country, right?
Yeah.
If this were a regular season and they lost that game and the playoffs started after that, we wouldn't think about that. Like, you got to think about how people even feel about adding a 9th conference game to the SEC and the impact that would have, and how people are saying, oh, he's just going, why we have to play these good teams? Well, in the college football playoff now, right after the SEC championship, you have to play a pretty good football team. You should win some of them, sure. You may lose some of them, sure, but this is just like a regular season game. So that's what makes that game that first round game so interesting, so volatile. It's in home, either home or away. Whereas when Georgia was winning championships, they didn't have to play after the SEC championship. This team, which was a pretty good team, had a month to prepare for their next game. So that's when I say it's a different sport almost, with same sport. I don't want to say that. It's like a different game. It's like you get what I'm saying?
I know.
Like, this game is in line.
I get what you're saying. That's a fair point. But I'm about to make some people mad by this question I'm about to ask them. about to make a lot of people mad just based off what you said. You basically said that Georgia had to wait a month to play games when it was the 14 playoff. Even in the BCS area, it was the exact same way. You have to wait. So you basically, I think it was like 35, almost 40 days you had to wait before you could play another game. Before you play the national championship game. I asked this question. Based off of that statement, does it make what Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana did more impressive than what Georgia did in Alabama?
Without a doubt.
Oh, no, man, you about to make people mad.
Controversial.
You about to make people mad because you know what you're saying, right? You know what you're saying. You know what the underlying.
I know exactly
what you're saying. Is that
saying that?
Big, yeah, thank you. That's what you're saying.
The big dude, his national championships don't equate to these right here.
That's exactly what's being said. I'm not. That's not what you're saying, but it could be alluded.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll rephrase it if you want me to say that.
No, don't rephrase it.
It's exactly what I mean. And it's not just him. It's every national championship that was won before this. Like if you common sense, bro, look at who Indiana had to beat to win a national championship and ask yourself, has any of those other teams had to go through that gauntlet to win a national championship? Now you could argue, well, they don't play anybody in the Big Ten and they just were cakewalked here and then they won a national championship. Okay, cool. You can say that. But since the Big Ten championship on to national championship in back to back weeks, they knocked off big teams. All right. Game after game after game after game and beat them pretty handily too. Made them look pretty bad. You can't compare that to winning the SEC championship, then waiting a month and then playing, 2 games and winning the national championship, and think that that's an easier path to a national championship than what Indiana or even Ohio State. Look at who Ohio State had to beat to get there. That gauntlet that they had to run. Like, man, come on, man. Like, common sense tells you that it's tougher now, right? And this is why.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that. Hold up,
Bubba. I just want you to clarify real quick that you're not saying that the regular season schedule. You're talking about the playoff run schedule that they had to go through. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said. Right. I see what he's saying. I get. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could argue that too. Purdue, Northwestern, and all these. That's fine, right? But guess who played those same teams that they mopped up in the Big Ten championship?
That's a good point.
It's not like you know what I'm saying. Guess who played those same teams? And on top of that, Miami got there. They didn't play nobody. Like, come on, man. You got to tell the truth when the truth is there. Like, bro, they beat some good teams. One of them was your team. I'm calling your team a good team.
Yeah, that's
knocked them off.
Exactly. I bleed Crimson. But go ahead, Bubba. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to piggyback on the Ohio State run. The Ohio State run was one of the most ridiculous runs we've ever seen. Over the course of 31 days, I'm bad at math, so don't check me on that. But Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. Mainly those first 3. Those are 3 top 10 defensive lines in college football.
Yeah.
That's a 30-day stretch that they won a national championship doing that. There's no SEC schedule that can compete with that.
No, that's my point, Bubba. Exactly.
Wow. That's good, man. That's good. I can't get out of here. Hold on real quick. Before I say it, Mike McKinney came and said, so are we really saying that playing Alabama twice, playing Ole Miss twice, playing Oklahoma twice is a cakewalk? What are we saying right now?
I never said that.
No, I didn't say that. I think you might be referring to people in the chat.
No, y'all basically downplaying the strength of the SEC schedule. That's what these guys are saying. The physicality.
Well, the SEC was just as strong when Georgia went back to back. So what's wrong with it now?
All they're saying is the physicality of the SEC takes a toll in the playoff run. And if you go look at the playoffs, most of the playoff teams got put out by SEC teams. Most SEC teams got put out by other SEC teams. But like you said, Tez, Indiana did beat the shit out of Alabama.
I mean, bro, to me, I'm just gonna be honest with you. All that is an excuse.
It is.
If you are upset that this league has really, really tough teams, go cheer for somebody in the G5. This is what we got. We in the SEC. These are the teams that we got to play. Either you win the games or you don't. Like, we can't. How long are we gonna keep? Listen, y'all. My channel is called SECs, and I love this conference. But it makes us look bad that we always complaining about they don't play nobody. They got cupcakes. Like, come on, bro. Did you sign up for this or did you not? There are other go to the ACC. Like, go somewhere where you can get an easy walk to the national championship if that's what you want. But if you want to play in this league and you want to be respected as a team in this league, bro, this is what you got. Because I guarantee you, when nobody be saying any of that is, if Alabama had won that national championship last year, I believe Crimson, J Money, man, y'all wouldn't be saying none of that. When nobody be in there saying, oh, man, they had to play Purdue and all. No. You would be flexing, saying, oh, we beat everybody. You'd be flexing about beating Indiana and all these teams that you're saying had a cakewalk to get there. You'd be flexing about beating them. So, like, we cannot do that, bro. Either you want to be in this conference and you respect is it a tough conference? Sure, it's a tough conference. I believe it's a tough conference, but this is what we got. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we're an Auburn fan. We won 5 games last year. You never heard an Auburn fan sit up here and say, oh man, we should have had an easier schedule. Comparing our schedule to other teams, like, man, if we'd have been in the ACC, it would have been different. We'd have been in the Big Ten, it would have been different. No, bro, we got to win the games that we got right now. How long are we going to do this, man? I be trying to fight for the SEC, but every 5 minutes, somebody coming up talking about, oh, man, they had to play Purdue and Northwestern and all these other teams. So what? Beat them. I don't know, man.
I mean, if they never played anybody and they weren't, fighting in a difficult conference, then it should be nothing to beat their ass in the playoffs anyway, right? Because they haven't seen this level of competition, so it shouldn't matter. So we should beat them anyway, but we don't.
You know what? It feels good not having to be the one to sit here and actually fight and get my point across of what I'll be trying to say all the time. But it is what it is. I said basically what Ted said is what I've been trying to say for the past year and a half. Is that I enjoy the SEC, but I just got to give it up for the Big Ten, man. What they have done has been impressive for me a little bit. Before we get out of here, man, we got to acknowledge the fact that Auburn did get a commitment today from an offensive lineman, ladies and gentlemen, an offensive lineman, man.
Too.
Yes, he did. Yes, they did, man. Auburn football got a commitment today from offensive line recruit from the class of 2027, Jalen Moore from Atlanta, Georgia, man. He picked Auburn over Georgia Tech, Pitt, and Alabama. Man. So this is a big pickup for Auburn. 6'5", 305-pound interior offensive lineman out of Alabama. Bubba, you are a resident a recruiting expert. Your thoughts on this young kid, man, and what he potentially could be at Auburn when it's all said and done, and how can he fit into this system with one young Alex Golish and Joel Gordon?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen a second of film on this dude. Okay. Yeah, I haven't got to it yet, but he's big and allegedly he's athletic, so that's good.
I just like the fact that this is the second commitment in what 2 or 3 days for Auburn.
2 days.
You got Myson Johnson over the weekend, and then now you getting Miller as well. So maybe this is different than last year. Man. Maybe we may be on the string of possibly seeing some commitments happen right now, starting and going into the summertime before the season start, man. And it'll be great. It'll be great to see. Tez, Marcus, y'all thoughts on the commit that Auburn picked up on the offensive line in the class of 2027?
He's seen the spring game.
Man, he can play over Cole Skinner right now.
Like,
He
man,
seen the spring. He seen the spring game, and he understood the
Oh
assignment.
my god, Aaron, y'all funny, bro.
that playing time rating was green.
Oh,
Hey, Ted, he was on the phone in the spring game, like, man, hey, goddamn alignment, please.
man, y'all
that's funny.
funny.
Hey, but to be
bro.
fair though, Nick, I ain't gonna lie. When the first time I saw that, then I looked at a little bit of just like highlights on him. I actually thought about something that you said when you was like, you said it a couple times about the type of offensive lineman that Alex Golesh wants to recruit, and he fits the bill. Big kid, athletic, 6'6", someone like that.
6'5", 305.
6'5", 305. So yeah, he fits along with what Alex Golesh wants, and it seems like to points that you guys have made earlier. When I say earlier, I mean earlier in the year. It seems like Alex Golesh is going after a specific type of player and not just going out and recruiting talent just because everybody says this talent is good. He has a type, and that's good to see, man, because that's what we need, man. We need we need to recruit like that, because then we don't have to compete against everybody else for the players that we want. Just because everybody's not running this type of system and doesn't want these type of offensive linemen. So yeah, I love that. I hope there's more to come.
Yeah, man. Jay Money in the chat said, man, I'm not hating on Indiana. Please don't misrepresent me. He said Indiana was a great team, and any team winning the championship in the coming years is more impressive than the past. I don't hate it. I believe Crimson said, damn, the schedules. Ask the NFL GMs. but the schedules with the NFL, I was watching a video on how those schedules are made, and I think it's based on, well, of course, if you in a division, you got to play your division 2 times a year. So that's 6 games already. Then the way I gotta go back and reread and rewatch that video of how the NFL schedules how those NFL schedules work. Because it's a system that they have, and it's not like how athletic directors can pick and choose in college football who they want to play. Like Auburn plays Notre Dame in 2027 and 2028, in a home and home series. Like Auburn goes to Notre Dame in 27, Notre Dame comes to Auburn in 28. Like that's not how, like, it ain't like those they can pick. Like in the NFL, Minnesota can pick who they want to play. It's all based on how Minnesota finished the year before, where they finished that in their conference and things and stuff like that. So I mean,
I think it's something like if you finish 3rd in your division, you play the 3rd in all the other divisions or something like that.
Yeah, it's something of that nature.
Broke it down.
Yeah, it's something like that. But then like it's almost, but it's
they got a whole
in
algorithm
other divisions. Yeah, it's like a whole algorithm to it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's an interesting little way that they have it done to where the schedule, like the way that they do it, it works every year. It just really depends on how those teams finished the previous year, is what it is.
That's how New England didn't play nobody.
basically. Jay Money said, man, y'all so used to having the same combative feedback with any Bama fan. At least hear me out first before you assume. I'm in Big Ten country. I've been the canary in the coal mine saying they have better.
Hey, you know what, Jay Money? You are 100% right. If you felt like I was personalizing you in any way, I apologize for that. I did not mean for it to come off that way. I should have heard you out. It's just that you're a fan of a team who's the only fan base that keeps saying this. There's no other SEC team whose fan base is using this as an argument constantly when they get kicked out of the playoffs. I just don't hear a bunch of Oklahoma fans saying, man, they didn't play nobody. Or a bunch of, you know what I mean? Ole Miss fans say, oh, man, the Big Ten didn't play nobody. Like, it's only this fan base. So that's why I geared it towards y'all. I didn't mean to personalize you, though.
I said, I believe Chris is still standing on business. He said, damn, no SEC argument. He talking about, they better. SEC better. You heard what he said.
Shout out to our guy Brad Browning in the chat. What's up, Brad? What's up, my guy? Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling great, man. Hope all is well, man. We appreciate you. Fellas, man, we about to get up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all so much for that, for rocking with us, man. Bubba, man, what you got to say to the people before we get up out of here, my guy?
Yeah, just stop complaining. That's about the size of it.
Oh my God, that's a good one. That's a good one, man. Tez, we got to say to the people before we get up out of here, man.
Oh man. Hey, appreciate y'all in the chat, man. Appreciate these guys for having me. And yeah, that's about it, man. Tomorrow, lunch breaks, maybe a short show because I gotta leave to go see my daughter graduate.
It is.
I'm gonna say that again to see my daughter graduate.
Yes, sir.
Right there,
And I'm gonna keep saying that all the way up until
I got one for you.
I'm just gonna
you guys say it one more time. Say it one more time.
to see my daughter graduate. Special moment, man. Special moment for me. I know I'm dragging it out, but she's my wildest dreams coming true.
It's great. It's great, man. Mark, what you got to say to people before we get up out of here, man?
Man, first of all, congratulations to Ted's daughter for graduating.
Yes.
Hey, it's a tough task. Hey, y'all be safe, man, and catch up Friday, man. Be blessed.
Yeah, Friday. We'll be back around the water cooler. It might be a short show too, to be honest with you. No, we'll see. But we appreciate that, dog, man. We got you, man. Brad Brown in the chat said, man, bro, my daughter's graduated this year too, and she's my only kid. Bittersweet, but she got a scholarly to Auburn. Hold up, wait a minute. I gotta read it one more time. She got a scholarly to Auburn.
Let's go.
That's what's up. War Eagle, Brad Brown.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations on that accomplishment and achievement as well, man. I believe Crimson said, man, yeah, Bama fans just need to get used to mediocrity like the other team in the state. LOL.
Well,
man,
nothing brings success like complaining, you know. So
that was a shot.
I couldn't do this show without you, man. You are, I believe,
you're extremely clever. I'll tell you that.
It's great. It is great having him in the chat, bro. Because, bro, it'd be funny. Did
he misspell mediocrity?
Did he? I don't know. I can't see. Probably
mediocrity.
Yeah, he just put an A in there. He got that's all.
Yeah.
That's
that
all.
little squiggly line didn't come up, did it?
Please.
You an asshole, Ted. You an asshole, Ted.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm typing something, and then that little line don't come up, and I'm not sure. Like I get nervous, bro. Like, wait a minute, I'm on my own now.
That's it. Oh yeah, the spell check don't pop up for you.
You took the training wheels off. Like, oh my god,
that is funny, bro. Mike McKinney said, "There's Marcus at the door again. Somebody ringing doorbell going off. Marcus couldn't get in last night, so that's how we found out Marcus was a vampire." That's hilarious, bro. That's funny, man. All right, man. We about to get up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all that. Before we do that, man, before we get out of here, man, I got to keep telling y'all, man, make sure y'all go subscribe to these YouTube channels. Make sure y'all do that. Subscribe to Bro, what?
Hey, man.
Y'all ever had weekend energy, bro?
I wouldn't. What that mean?
I don't know, bro. I really don't know. But it's tell us to stay tuned. Tell us to stay tuned. So I guess we gotta stay tuned for it. But let me just go to let me see if I can get to the correct graphic that I want to put up here. Hold on, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I thought man, it's making me look bad. But okay, here we go. Make sure y'all subscribe to these YouTube channels, man. I got Ted's at its SC season. Got Tight Sports and Alabama Football Megacast. DC Wolf at Auburn_Addicts TV. Dustin over at the Uptempo Podcast. Be Sharp over at Sharpshooter Sports Talk, man. I got Vandy Chris over at the Go to Broom Podcast and the Anchor Live Podcast on Facebook. Also at the Huggy Beard himself on YouTube and Twitter. Kid Country on YouTube. And the legend himself, Bubba and the Old Man, Auburn Sports Talk on YouTube. Also, make sure you go subscribe to JMX Sports Talk with I got Coach Sean on the Block Sports with Coach Carr. And of course, I got Dylan over at the College Loop, man. Also, man, make sure you support the people that support Water Cooler Talk Sports. Shout out, I got DJ. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. That's Hollywood with an EY. And follow him on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's.
Hollywood.
They want support of Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. We appreciate them so much, man, for working with us, and we appreciate y'all so much for supporting them as well. Also, man, head on down to our guy, Chef Country, Adelines by Chef Country, man. 2371 Highway 14, Otagoville, Alabama, man, where we do it right. We will be there October 17th for the 2026 for the Auburn versus Georgia game. We will be going live from Adelines, man. So we want y'all to be in the place, and details about that will be coming soon, man. So shout out to our guy Edward, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us there, man. Also, man, make sure you follow us on our social medias. Follow us at CoolerSpot23 on Twitter, at the Water Cooler Talk on Instagram and TikTok, and of course the Water Cooler Talk podcast on Facebook as well. Also visit www.watercoolertalksports.com. That's www.watercoolertalksports.com. In the process of expanding that and offering some exclusivity for those that want to be a part of that. That will be coming the first weekend, second week of July. We will be unveiling that. So, man, we appreciate y'all so much for that as well, and rocking with us on the website as well, man. Let's get up out of here, man. As always, man, you all have a good one. Better yet, y'all have a great one. Y'all be blessed, man. Make sure y'all give the man upstairs above his, because he deserves all the praise and all of the glory, man. Shout out to DWG in the chat, man. Appreciate you so much, man, for rocking with us. We appreciate you, man. And until next time, which should be Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, back around the water cooler. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin wrote these words on the wall before he walked out of the department for the last time on the Martin Show. 2 words he wrote: one love. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out this mug. Y'all be easy. Y'all be blessed. We'll see you when we see you. All right, man. Peace.
This has been a presentation of Water Cooler Talk Sports.